Hello friends, as the title of the today's video suggests that we are going to start a new topic, and that is the lateral earth pressure. In this chapter we are going to answer some of the questions like what is the lateral earth pressure, what is its direction, why this acts, how it varies, what is its value, and what are the precautions we take when the earth pressure acts because of a given soil in the retaining structures. So first of all, to start with this particular chapter, I am taking with the definition of the lateral earth pressure. So the topic for the today's video is lateral earth pressure. Lateral earth pressure. As the name suggests, it is telling us about the earth pressure. Earth means soil and pressure means the force per unit area. But the first word is suggesting us the direction of this pressure. That means this is the pressure exerted by soil in the horizontal direction. For example, if this is a retaining structure and there is soil present on the left hand side, then this soil will have a tendency to spread itself. This tendency is seen in most of the matter, as every matter tries to reduce its energy, and as the elevation of the particle is high or more, then its potential energy will be more. Hence, to reduce its energy, every matter tends to spread itself and reduces the height of the stack. The same tendency is seen in the soil also. The same tendency can be observed also with the water present in a bucket. And this particular stress which is exerted by the soil on its surrounding retaining structure, that pressure will be known as the earth pressure. So we can see that earth pressure is the pressure exerted by a soil on its retaining structures in the horizontal direction. That pressure is known as lateral earth pressure. The question arises, what is lateral earth pressure? That is clear, but what are the different type of lateral earth pressure? So the answer is that if there is a soil on the left hand side, then it will try to exert the force on this particular retaining wall or retaining structure in the right hand side. But what will happen if there is a soil present on this side also? This soil will also have a tendency to spread itself, and it will exert the force on this retaining structure in this direction because of its tendency to spread. But it is quite obvious that the net force on this particular retaining wall will be according to the force exerted by the two soil on the different sides. And as we can see that the height of the soil on the left hand side is more, hence I am naming the soils. Hence, we can say that the force exerted by soil 1 will be more as compared to the force exerted by soil 2. Hence, the net force on the retaining structure or the retaining wall will be in this direction. Fine. And as we can see that the net force on the retaining structure is in the right hand side, we can say that the work of soil 1 is effective. And we can say that the soil 1 is actually working according to its tendency, whereas as on the soil 2, the net force on the retaining structure is towards the soil. We can say that this soil 2 is sleeping. This soil is active and is working while this soil is sleeping. Hence, this soil is said to be in active state, whereas this soil 2 is said to be in passive state. I hope you got the reason why these soil are given this name. One soil is given the name as active soil or in active state, whereas this soil is said to be in passive state. But remember here that any particular soil is not inherently active or passive. That depends upon its condition. It is just like that there was a competition between these two soil, and soil 1 won. It is not necessary every time that soil 1 will win. It may be possible that in some case this soil 2 will win if there is a extra load on the soil 2. Then there is possibility that the horizontal force exerted by soil 2 will be more, and in that case this soil 2, which was earlier in the passive state, will become in the active state. Hence we can say that active soil or passive soil is not the type of soil, it is actually the state of soil. Hence we have written here that this is in active state and this is in passive state. That is not the classification or the type of soil, that is only the condition of soil. So the earth pressure exerted by such a soil which is in active state, it is known as active earth pressure, whereas the pressure exerted by such passive soil will be known as passive earth pressure. But the key point to remember here or to note here that whether the soil is in active state or in passive state, both the soil have a tendency to spread, and the force exerted by soil in active and passive state is away from the backfill. The soil 2 that is in passive state is exerting force away from the backfill, whereas soil 1 is also exerting the force away from the backfill. Hence we can say that the active and passive soil both exerts force in the direction away from the backfill towards the retaining wall. But this is the general case. There is an exception when the net force on the soil is towards the backfill. Fine, we will see that exception in the later videos, but now I am telling you about another case that we can observe, and that is the earth pressure at rest. What will happen if the force exerted by soils on two sides of the retaining wall are equal? Hence, in that particular case, the net force on the retaining structure will be 0, and this retaining structure will have no tendency to move. In that case, the earth pressure exerted by the soil on both the sides will be said to be the earth pressure at rest. Hence, the soil are said to be at rest condition. So we can say here that there are three types of earth pressure according to the condition of the soil and the net force on the retaining structure. The first one was the passive state, second one was the first one was the active state, second one was the passive state, and third one was the earth pressure at rest. But there is a general observation that if we apply a vertical load on the stack of a material, that material can be anything, it can be some grain, wheat or rice, but if we exert a vertical force on the stack of a grain, its tendency to spread in the horizontal direction will increase. That means we can say that the horizontal stress exerted on the soil or the horizontal stress exerted by the soil will be directly proportional to the vertical stress acting on it. Here I have written this dash value, that means sigma h dash is actually representing the horizontal stress. It is representing the horizontal stress exerted by solids only. As we all know that sigma v dash means it is nothing but that is the vertical stress acting on the solids, and that is nothing but that is the effective stress. So we can say that the horizontal stress acting on the solids will be directly proportional to the vertical stress acting on the solids, and if we remove this particular proportionality sign, a new constant will get introduced, and that constant is written as k. This constant k can be written as sigma h dash upon sigma v dash. This constant k is known as coefficient of earth pressure. This constant k is known as coefficient of earth pressure. If we know the value of this coefficient K, then we can easily determine the value of lateral earth pressure in any case, because we have already studied about the variation of effective stress with the depths in the various cases. So this particular K depends upon the type of state in which the soil is present. It can be written as a coefficient of active earth pressure in the case of active soil. It can be written as the coefficient of passive earth pressure, or it can be written as the coefficient of earth pressure at rest. And depending upon the values of these Ka, Kp and K0, the value of earth pressure will vary in the different cases. So this was the general introduction or the type of the earth pressure which we studied in this particular video. In the next video, we are going to study about the earth pressure that will act on the soil at rest. That means we will try to derive the value of K0 in the next video. तब तक लगातार पढ़ते रहे, बढ़ते रहे. Happy engineering!